Tonight, dangerous temperatures.
It's extremely hot and it's been sustained for now a few days.
London hit with our first heat wave of the summer. Plus, treacherous waters.
2 Good Samaritans came to the rescue of the young teenage daughter.
But her father did not resurface. And international flavor.
To know that there are people from other countries who want to try our food, it warms my heart.
Festival season underway in Victoria Park.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. The heat is on and it's not letting up anytime soon. Local health officials have extended heat warnings through Wednesday ahead of several consecutive days of dangerous temperatures. With more on the message to residents to stay safe, here's Rita Ismail.
With scorching daytime highs and humidity, public health officials are sounding the alarm and reminding people to take the first heat warning of the summer seriously.
It's concerning because not only is it the first heat event of the season for the Middlesex London area, it's actually an extended heat warning, so it's longer than a typical heat warning, which is typically about 2 days in duration.
The City of London has activated its extreme temperature response. It is operating 4 community centers as cooling centers, offering relief to anyone who needs a break from the heat. Officials are also urging residents to check on neighbors, family, and friends, especially those living alone.
It's extremely hot and it's been sustained for now a few days. The kind of calls that we get are really around concerns around heat exhaustion and potentially heat stroke.
The city's spray pads are open for kids to enjoy and cool off, but health officials are urging everyone to drink water regularly and stay indoors when possible, especially during the afternoon heat. As the sun beats down on this London tennis court, Coach Bill Kovac trains his athlete, Kale Paolo. It's intense, but safety comes first.
They're well supplied with electrolytes, water, and it's not new for them to spend time. Now, today is a little extreme than normal, but we have breaks.
The Middlesex London Health Unit extended its heat warning through midweek as the region is forecast to hit 31 degrees or higher for multiple days with humidex values near 40.
The longer that people are experiencing extreme heat temperatures, the more they're at risk due to the cumulative impacts of the heat, and particularly folks that are most vulnerable.
Due to the heat warning, all sports fields are closed in London, and local school boards have canceled outdoor field trips for the next few days. Rita Ismail, CTV News.
Lambton OPP say they've closed down a section of the 402 because of poor road conditions caused by the extreme heat. It's a westbound strip of highway near the Kamlaki overpass, which has reportedly crumbled. That traffic has been rerouted onto London Line from the Oil Heritage Road exit. According to the Transportation Ministry, the roadway isn't expected to reopen until later this week, and permanent repairs won't be made until the fall.
Good evening. As you know, it's scorching hot out there, feeling like a blast furnace. A heat warning in effect stretching all the way from Windsor through London, east to Toronto, and all of Quebec under this warning, southern areas as well. With temperatures today breaking records in London, hitting 33.1, breaking the record of 32.5 set back in 1983. 18 records were broken in southern Ontario yesterday. Numerous records breaking again today. Outside right now, 33 at the London airport on the hour. 32 to 30 degrees as we head to Midwestern Ontario. It feels like 38 to 43 right now in London and 44 in Sarnia. Now, when the humidex gets this hot, it can be dangerous for folks, especially those elderly and very young. Avoid strenuous outdoor activity, especially as you saw in the heat of the day. Drink plenty of water. But again, you can see possible heat stroke develop above 45. Now, there's not much relief coming our way as we head through the overnight. Temperatures will stay extremely warm. So overnight lows will be dropping down into the low 20s. So temperature wise, not much of a break expected across our region. So you can see anywhere from 23 to 24 overnight. Another hot one on the way for tomorrow, but we will introduce the risk for showers and thunderstorms. We'll take a look at the forecast. I'll tell you how long the high humidity will last, but we have one more day of this extreme heat. Carlyle?
Julie, thanks very much. Several communities in northern Ontario have declared states of emergency, cleaning up after the aftermath from a severe weekend storm.
I was terrified, but there was this part of me that kept telling myself, it's okay. It's okay. No matter what happens, it's going to be okay.
Authorities say there may have been a tornado Saturday, which flooded roads, brought down trees, and left some people trapped. A shelter-in-place order was issued in 2 communities just east of North Bay. OPP say people should avoid non-essential travel during the cleanup as crews assess all the damage. Provincial police say the body of a missing swimmer has been recovered near Port Burwell. Witnesses say he was a father who lost his life while saving his daughters. With more, here's Brent Lale.
After searching the waters off the shore at Port Burwell Provincial Park for nearly 24 hours, OPP have recovered the body of a missing swimmer. Randy Levine, a 35-year-old Woodstock native and Toyota employee, lost his life while saving his daughter when the pair got swept out too far in the water Sunday.
We had a daughter and father going to distress while they're swimming in the waters of Lake Erie here in Port Burwell. 2 Good Samaritans came to the rescue of the young teenage daughter. Unfortunately, the father did not resurface.
OPP, the Canadian Coast Guard, and Ontario Parks searched the beach hours after Samaritans risked their lives attempting to pull Levine and his daughter to shore. Those at the beach at the time said the water was choppy.
The waves were really big when we got here today, earlier this morning, about a good solid 1.5 meters. The beach was in a panic. Everybody was looking for them because they couldn't, obviously there was a lot of shock and they couldn't contact family members that were still not at the beach or at home. So it was a really scary situation.
The drowning here in Port Burwell was one of 3 major incidents involving water over the weekend in southwestern Ontario. Chatham-Kent police are searching the Thames River for a missing teenage girl, and there were 2 non-fatal drownings in Port Stanley.
No, took in a lot of water and that, but lifeguards were doing some training in that, and they got them to safety in that, and then along with fire as well, and got them out and got them into EMS hands and taking both to hospital.
On social media Monday, condolences were pouring in and hailing Levine as a hero for saving his daughter.
Thank you to those Good Samaritans, and I'd also like to take this opportunity to send out my sincere condolences to all family members and friends that are affected by this tragedy.
Brent Lale, CTV News.
Provincial police say a 6-year-old was rescued today after floating away on Lake Huron. According to police, the child was on an inflatable south of Goderich and they were blown away from the shore. They say the Huron OPP Marine Unit and Canadian Coast Guard helped bring them back to shore safely. London police have issued a public safety warning after a reported sexual assault over the weekend. Police say it happened early Saturday morning. They say a man approached a sex worker in a vehicle on Rectory Street near Hamilton. The woman let the man into the vehicle, and while inside, police say the suspect produced what appeared to be a handgun, threatening the woman. They say he then drove the car to a parking lot and assaulted her. The suspect is described as a brown man in his 30s, about 5'11", medium build, clean shaven with shoulder-length black hair, driving a silver or gray 4-door sedan. A trial began today for a London man arrested during a significant weapons bust 2 years ago. The Guns and Gangs unit charged 28-year-old Jacob Patrick Sturgeon with half a dozen gun-related offenses in April 2023, including possession of a restricted firearm and tampering with a handgun serial number. He has been released from custody but is required to wear an ankle monitor. The trial is expected to last 6 days. A crash north of London sent 1 person to hospital this morning. Middlesex OPP say they responded to a single vehicle crash on Wayland Line around 8 a.m. just west of Clark Road. Police say the person taken to hospital has serious but non-life-threatening injuries, and the area was closed for about 3 hours. Prime Minister Mark Carney was in Belgium today, meeting with European leaders and signing a new defense and security agreement. However, those discussions were overshadowed by recent developments in the Middle East, spurring calls for de-escalation. Jeremy Sharon reports.
A morning visit to a military cemetery kick-started Prime Minister Mark Carney's first full day in Belgium. A ceremony to honor hundreds of fallen Canadian soldiers buried here after the First and Second World War. Ahead of this Canada-EU summit, a meeting between Carney and European leaders focused on joint security and defence.
Very, very warm welcome to this EU-Canada summit.
We look forward to moving to an ever closer partnership with the European Union.
Here, Carney signed a new security and defence pact with European Union leaders aimed at diversifying its trade and defence industrial partnerships, billed as a first step towards more defence procurement from Europe and an eventual plan to get Canada into the Rearm Europe military program.
It will help us deliver on our new requirements for capabilities more rapidly and more effectively. It will help build our industries, secure our jurisdictions.
But Carney's European trip has been dominated already by the escalating war in the Middle East. The Prime Minister spoke with President Trump overnight and says de-escalation was a focus of their conversation.
Where the state of Iran has been a sponsor of terrorism, Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, and beyond. And where at least in our opinion, Canada has listed the Iranian Revolutionary Guard as a terrorist organization, active terrorist organization. These are violations of international law.
Carney travels to The Hague in the morning for a highly anticipated NATO meeting where it's expected the conflict in the Middle East will dominate too. NATO's Secretary General was pressed on it today.
That is why NATO has said Iran should not, and this is a consistent position of NATO, Iran should not have its hands on a nuclear weapon. So, and I would not agree that this is against international law, what the U.S. did.
The Hague summit will also see the alliance look at a new baseline spending target of 5% of GDP. Canada only this month committed to meeting the current 2% target this fiscal year, a decade after the alliance agreed to it. Jeremy Sharon, CTV News, Brussels.
Iranian officials announced retribution today for American strikes on their nuclear sites over the weekend. U.S. officials were expecting that response, what's being called a symbolic retaliation. With more on that, here's Joy Malbon.
Explosions boomed over the night sky, terrifying images of missiles seen over Doha and posted on social media. Iranian state TV said it fired missiles at the Al Adid U.S. military base that President Donald Trump visited just 1 month ago. Qatar says its air defenses managed to intercept Iranian missiles, and no casualties have been reported. The attack was announced on Iran state TV Proportionate. Iran said to the attack by the U.S. it was bomb for bomb. This was retaliation, Iran says, for the U.S. bombing Saturday. Satellite imagery shows the damage to 3 nuclear facilities targeted by the U.S. President Donald Trump warned Iran this was a one-off and not to strike back, or else.
Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier.
Iran reportedly gave Qatar advance notice of the attacks, temporarily closing its airspace, U.S. military bases and major U.S. cities on high alert. The president meeting with his national security team and the Trump administration stressing,
we're not at war with Iran, we're at war with Iran's nuclear program.
But it comes as the president, sure to anger Iran, floated the idea of regime change.
Of course, Iran would like to escalate in response to the Israeli and the American attacks, but we will see exactly whether Iran is actually able to effectively respond. And I think this is what we're going to see over the next 48 hours.
Throughout all this, U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff has kept in touch with Iranian officials. The Trump administration still leaving the door open to some kind of diplomatic resolution. Joy Malbon, CTV News, Washington.
Toronto police say they're investigating an overnight attempted bank robbery. As Scott Lightfoot reports, the would-be thieves used an excavator to try and break into the building.
It is 2:46 a.m. when surveillance video shows an excavator slowly creeping across the parking lot of a plaza at the corner of Port Union Road and Fanfare Ave. Seconds later, the person operating that excavator raises the machine's arm and drives the bucket right through the roof of the plaza.
It was like, is this for real? This is not a usual attempt of a break-in.
It was a shocking scene for Plaza owner Graham Sperber when he drove up this morning. He first got the call around 5 a.m. telling him someone had used an excavator to try and gain access to the Scotiabank on site. But it wasn't until he arrived that he saw just how extensive the damage was.
I guess the excavator was stolen from a nearby construction site and driven into the property, and they attempted to access the automatic teller machines with an excavator through the roof and demolished the front of 2 stores in the attempt to get in.
That attempt may not have been a spur-of-the-moment mission. Security footage from just minutes before shows a U-Haul backing into the area where the excavator would roll through moments later. A car can also be seen pulling in, and both appear to move and park on the opposite side of the parking lot when the excavator begins to demolish the front of the building.
I walked across the street and I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy.
Throughout the day, those who live and work in the neighborhood came by to survey the damage.
So I was shocked. I was shocked, like totally ripped off, right? Like I never expected this big happened here.
And they weren't the only ones taking a look. Structural engineers worked to determine the extent of the damage. The plaza's owner says it could cost as much as $500,000. And as for what the thieves managed to steal,
they got nothing.
The would-be thieves left the excavator in place when they took off empty-handed. It was later moved and surrounded by crime tape. Toronto police have yet to make any arrests. Those in the area struggling to make any sense of exactly what happened here.
I can't really say I'm surprised. You know, I've pretty much seen it all. You know, and I'm actually speechless for that one. I don't know what to say.
Scott Lightfoot, CTV News.
London's culinary diversity was on display this weekend at Victoria Park. With more on the International Food and Drink Festival, here's Brent Lale.
You only had to walk a few steps in Victoria Park to get a mix of cuisine from around the globe.
We are making a fresh sugarcane juice. We make it on site. It's natural source of sugar. Everyone is like amazed because they are seeing it for the very first time that I'm making a juice out of a sugarcane juice. They think that it's a bamboo, but it's not a bamboo, it's sugarcane.
Having immigrated from India, they are just one of the hidden success stories in the forest city. A few steps away, it was impossible to ignore the smell of fresh Filipino barbecue from Bicong's Express.
Seeing my parents build this business from the ground up, to see from we were just making bread from our house to coming here, being part of a festival, and everyone knows our name, and we're starting to build something.
The business, located in East London, won Best Food at the 2024 festival.
To know that there are people from other countries who want to try our food, it's I know it warms my heart to be seeing all these different cultures with all different backgrounds.
The music was playing, the drinks were flowing, and patrons were seeking refuge from the summer heat.
What you can really expect in a show like this is culture. You're going to see all kinds of culture represented and their food. We brought in all kinds of different kinds of food from around the Caribbean, from even Africa, India. It's all represented here. I believe we have had such a great immigration of people that have come to this country and created their own foods, and they brought it to us. We didn't have to go there. They brought it to us right here in Victoria Park.
Brent Lale, CTV News.
When we come back, will the future of the federal NDP party include a merger? Why one of the leadership candidates thinks they should join forces with the Greens. Plus, the inaugural Soho Soapbox Derby, bringing a whole community together.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's latest.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVLondon.ca, your home for news.
CTV London has your chance to unleash your inner Tarzan. Enter now at CTVLondon.ca for your chance to win a 4-pack of passes to Bowler Mountain Treetop Adventure Park.
A local farmer is running for the federal NDP leadership position. Scott Miller has more on his vision for the party and why he wants it to merge with the federal Greens.
What I hear them talking about is stabilizing a system that serves the elites.
Tony McQuail is no stranger to running for the NDP party. The Huron County organic farmer has been an NDP candidate in Huron, Bruce, 8 times since 1980. But now he has his eyes on a different job.
After watching the last provincial and federal elections and having been very concerned about what I've seen previously, I've decided to run for the federal leadership of the New Democratic Party.
One of the main reasons he's running, he says, is to stop the current vote splitting between the NDP and the Green Party. So he plans to lead a union of the two federal parties into a brand new political party, the Green Democratic Progressives.
They need to figure out what they can agree on, not what they need to fight about, so that we can start having a political party that has strong, progressive, and environmental policy to deal with the crisis we're in.
The crisis McQuail speaks about is one of growing economic inequality and extreme consumerism and capitalism that is driving environmental collapse.
We are the environment is us. And if we don't treat it well, if we don't start regenerating this system rather than just trying to stabilize it or talk about sustainability, we need to talk about regeneration. And I'm not hearing that effectively. We need to talk about big changes because we need to get to the root causes of the problems we're facing.
McQuail, who founded and still operates an organic farm near Lucknow with his wife and family, says Canada must move towards renewable energy as soon as possible, as well as focus on simply using less energy and resources altogether. Representation, regeneration, and redistribution are the 3 pillars he believes our society must adopt to not only thrive, but simply survive.
We haven't recognized that the more you have, the more you waste in terms of the ecosystem, which is why it's really important that we spread things out so people have enough for their needs.
And that will work better, he believes, if the Green Party and New Democratic Party merge into one progressive political party.
The two parties need to figure out what they can agree on and work on, because if they want a minority government, they'd have to do that then. Let's do it before and give people a clear choice and a clear option.
Near Lucknow, Scott Miller, CTV News.
London police held an open house today, hoping to attract more women to the profession. They were set up at the BMO Centre, offering a chance for potential recruits to test their physical capabilities. Police say about 80 women came out today, part of an effort to bring the total number of female officers up to 30% by 2030.
They're going up over the wall. That's a 4-foot wall that they have to go over, and they have to do a victim drag as well as go up and down the stairs. And then they have to, there's 2 different machines that they use as well, where they're doing a push-pull with 75 pounds of weight, and then they're also doing a restraint, which is supposed to mimic handcuffing somebody that's trying to pull away.
The Soho neighborhood hosted its first ever Soapbox Derby this past weekend. Families and residents lined South Street, cheering on the competitors and their custom-made race cars. Brent Lale reports.
2, 1, go!
9-year-old Xavier Soares couldn't believe he won the first annual Soho Soapbox Derby.
This is the first time that me racing an actual thing. I'd never raced in my life.
And go!
Dozens of families and residents of the Soho neighborhood lined South Street for what they expect to be an annual tradition. Organizers encouraged kids, families, and businesses to build soapbox racers. And the creativity was on display with 34 entries.
Beaver Brigade or the Soho Popo, or we've got just a bunch of different cars. It's actually impressive how all we did was say build it out of wood and make sure you push the Canadian pride this year specifically.
And what's more Canadian than the Stanley Cup? Jack Rice, who finished 2nd overall in the junior division, had one of the more popular cars.
The car's inspired by all the Canadian teams who pursue the Stanley Cup each year, and also all the Canadians who win it, because there's lots of Canadians that are on all the NHL teams. We've had a local racer in our neighborhood a few years ago, so we just rebuilt the outside, remodeled it into the Stanley Coupe. It ran pretty well.
As Soho continues to boom, the idea of the race was to introduce newcomers to the area south of Horton Street.
Trying to build pride in this community and get community engagement. Have a lot of people that live in Soho. We call people that live here and do more Sohomies, just to kind of drive that home that you have to do more than just live. So we're trying to get that message across to everybody.
1, go!
And as for Xavier, he's learning valuable lessons and already looking forward to defending his crown.
He was catching up there, but I was pushing through and never give up.
Brent Lale, CTV News.
Looked like a blast of a way to spend a Saturday, and now Saturday was before the really extreme heat moved in too. So fortunately it was on Saturday, because if it was yesterday or even today, dangerous temperatures now have made their way here, as we saw earlier, Julie.
Yeah, and in terms of just being outdoors today, I mean, it was hard-pressed to find even a cloud out there. It's still completely clear, so our heat warning, as you know, in effect. Definitely, if you're outdoors, Rita mentioned a lot of this in her story, but you want to take lots of breaks, find shady spots, drink lots of water, and don't avoid really heavy, strenuous exercise during the day, even if you are used to it. Now, in terms of records, yes, breaking a record in London, we'll likely see a slew of records falling again today. Pearson Airport right now, 35.2 degrees in Toronto, and Gatineau, Quebec is at 35.8. London Airport this afternoon, 33.1. We could see that number shift just a bit when we see the official records. But anyway, you look at it, record-breaking heat. Temperature 32 right now, winds out of the south-southwest. It's been a bit breezy at times this afternoon, but it just feels like a furnace out there. Our forecast, as we head into tonight, we will see mainly clear conditions. We're not expecting anything to move in. Now, there is a frontal boundary that is draped across northern Ontario. Now, on the northern part of that boundary, as it's already come through parts of northern Ontario, is starting to cool off. There are a few showers along it. This dome of heat remains in place overnight and into tomorrow. Seeing these numbers popping up, Montreal 34, Toronto 35, really just some incredible heat that's in place. Tomorrow will be another day with extreme heat and humidity, but we'll start to see a bit of cloud cover move in. So we do have a ridge of high pressure at the surface and in the upper atmosphere. So what that means is lots of stability in the forecast. Heading into tomorrow, the upper ridge starts to break down and shift eastward. That will allow this frontal boundary that's off to the northwest to arrive to the area. As that front starts to come in, there is the chance for some showers, possibility of a pop-up thunderstorm. Now, we're going to hold on to this warmth overnight. We don't see any movement in terms of overnight lows, anywhere from 22 to 24 degrees. So temperature-wise, we hold on to the warm conditions. As you wake up tomorrow morning, heading out the door to sunshine, to a mix of sun and cloud by lunchtime, and the winds continuing out of the southwest, 20 with gusts of 40. The forecast high of 32, once again feeling close to 40. So this extreme warmth will be hanging on. Now, as this front starts to slump in, Midwestern Ontario, Grey and Bruce County, you're going to start to cool off, but the front will stall right around Huron, Perth. And that means that Huron and Perth County likely will not see the cooler conditions, but it's going to be right on the edge. London will stay into the extreme warmth. There will be some pop-up showers and thunderstorms around, but as you can see, it's not widespread. But we will introduce a slight probability. That front will stall out, and we will see a few showers develop along that as we head into your Wednesday. Same weather story all week, so just a frontal boundary that is slumped over the area, bringing the potential for a few showers, possibility of thunderstorms. Now, the humidity is going to stick with us, but not the extreme heat. So the extreme heat will be breaking as we head into tomorrow, or rather Wednesday. The extreme heat starts to break at 30 degrees and then 29 degrees with the chance of showers on Thursday. Friday, the chance for showers. Now, this looks like a lot of rainfall. I'm not expecting that to move through. So just the chance of rain as we head through. It's just that frontal boundary, and we'll see these little waves pushing through. So there'll be a lot of dry time as well. But look at the forecast highs, anywhere from 26 to 29. As we head into Monday, a mix of sun and cloud and still into the upper 20s. Midwestern Ontario, the risk of thunderstorms as we head into tomorrow, although your probability lower. 31 through here on Perth. Grey and Bruce County, you'll start to cool off into the upper 20s. The humidity will be breaking in Grey and Bruce, but not Huron and Perth County. Then on Wednesday, mainly cloudy and 29. Chance for showers Thursday into Friday. And then the weekend arrives with a mix of sun and cloud. Daytime highs 25 to 28. And the overnight lows coming down just a bit. So the extreme heat and humidity, Carlyle, will be with us as we head into tomorrow. The humidity, though, will start to break by Wednesday, as well as the heat. The humidity will be with us, but it will start to feel like the mid-30s, not the mid-40s. So not the best news to share with you for sure. However, we will likely just see one more day of the extreme heat warning before things start to break.
All right, Julie, thanks very much. Still ahead, Canadian tourism getting a boost from Canadian tourists. A look ahead to this year's summer travel season.
On the latest episode of In Conversation with Rita Ismail, the Honourable Ed Holder joins me to chat about his time as London's 64th mayor and his life after retirement.
In Conversation with Rita Ismail, available at iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.
It is so hot outside. We heard from a listener who said she prolonged a breakup just so she could keep accessing a pool.
Desperate times call for desperate measures. Join us tomorrow morning at 6 with a brand new confession coming up at 6:45.
Canadians are reporting a change in their summer vacation plans, looking locally as opposed to stateside. And as Dylan Dyson reports, that can actually have an added benefit when it comes to affordability.
Camping across eastern Ontario. That's the plan this summer for Laura Ginden and her family.
We like to go up to Picton. Quinte Isle is a nice campground. Barry's Bay. We kind of just travel all over Ontario.
A staycation of sorts, choosing to change their summer plans and avoid traveling to the United States.
We thought about it. We were thinking about maybe Lake George, but with everything going on, we decided against.
It's for that reason that Splash Valley in Cobden is a hot destination as summer officially arrives.
I've had some feedback from people that have booked and said they normally travel and they're not going to this year. They're going to stay local. So I believe we've seen an increase in the bookings.
Tourist attractions across Ottawa and the Valley catering to families this summer who are looking to stay local and see their dollar go further. Ottawa Tourism unveiling the Ottawa Pass, giving access to 5 local attractions for $100.
In the current economy, people are also looking to get the best value for their buck. And that's what we're trying to target, give people an affordable but fun and vibrant vacation in Ottawa.
At the Whitewater Inn in Beachburg, they say at under $200 a night, they can beat the price of major hotels, creating a more affordable getaway.
Going out of town, like the shock value is a little holy. So you get a lot more value for your dollar coming here, and then you have extra budget to spend on other things like, renting bikes, going rafting, going riverboarding, golf.
Ginden finding good value this summer in what the local region has to offer.
The campgrounds are pretty reasonable. They've gone up over the years, but I would say it's good value around here.
Dylan Dyson, CTV News, Cobden.
A London woman says she was recently scammed out of thousands of dollars because she clicked on a fake website. But as Pat Foran reports, as far as she could tell, the site was legitimate.
How was I supposed to know it was a scammer? I really didn't know that.
Ruth Jean of London operates her own company and needed to set up a business account with the Canada Revenue Agency. In March, she did a Google search to find the CRA's website.
And I clicked on it. It opened out. The CRA name was on there.
Jean says she was asked to put in her social insurance number and other personal information. Then she was asked for her banking details.
I asked for the card number, the ATM password, and the expiration date for the card and all that information. So I put it in. After I submit the information, the screen went blank.
Jean was on a fake spoof CRA website that looked like the real thing. Once criminals had her banking information, they emptied her bank account of more than $26,000.
You thought you were on the real PC Financial website?
Of course I did.
Earlier this year, we did a story with a senior trying to buy GICs who also got caught in a fake website scam that cost him $750,000.
I've got zero, nothing.
We reached out to Google, and a spokesperson said, when we find ads that breach our policies, we take immediate action, including removing the ads and suspending advertiser accounts when necessary.
Individuals can actually pay to have their listing right at the top, and some of those listings are not verified, and they're what we call spoofed websites.
Cybersecurity experts say you need to make sure you're on the proper website before entering financial information. Third-party link checkers can also help detect fraud.
The easiest way is to read the URL, which is the address, the domain address, up in the browser. Make sure that it's accurate, that it's spelled accurately. Look for the padlock in the browser. That padlock means that there is a security certificate and that your information is encrypted.
Jean says she is devastated to lose her hard-earned money.
I feel sad. I feel like angry. I was just trying to sign up for a business account on CRA.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
Strength in technology and materials helped Canada's main stock index close higher. The TSX up 112 points. In New York, the Dow added 375 and the Nasdaq up 184. The Canadian dollar lost 0.14 of a cent today. On commodity markets, gold gained to $9 an ounce. Oil fell more than $5 a barrel. When we come back, how to keep cool when it gets this hot, the risks for kids and the advice for parents. Welcome back. A warning for parents when temperatures get this high. Make sure your kids are protected. Pauline Chan has more on the risks for little ones when it gets this hot.
A splash and some cool, refreshing water is just what the doctor ordered for this heat wave. But for the very young, the elderly, those with respiratory issues, or with no air conditioning, some extra caution must be taken to avoid heat-related illness. Babies and toddlers are especially vulnerable.
First of all, their sweat glands are a little bit more immature. Their internal regulations are not as efficient. And they also have a higher surface area to body ratio. So they don't sweat as much.
Plus, they can't talk yet.
They can't tell us that they're overheated or dehydrated.
Dr. Natasha Kalia says heat cramps, heat exhaustion, and heat stroke are all part of a spectrum.
We start with heat like skin rashes. We start with heat syncope or fainting, and then heat cramps.
The next level of symptoms is heat exhaustion, when you start sweating excessively.
Other things you might see with heat exhaustion is just feeling fatigue, flushed skin. You might feel a little dry around the lips, dry cracked lips. You'll feel tired. You'll maybe sometimes even feel dizzy, lightheaded, faint, nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain.
And heat stroke is a life-threatening condition when the body is no longer able to sweat to cool off.
Now there might be organ damage, talking about heart, lung, kidneys, and even brain. We may see seizures with heat stroke. That is where, if you do not recognize those symptoms and you do not seek medical attention early, those can be fatal.
Dr. Colia says during a heat wave such as this, sick kids might see several cases of heat-related illness in a week.
Her advice for parents: keep a close eye on the weather forecast so you're prepared for the heat, avoid going out at the hottest times of the day, and keep the kids hydrated and not just water.
Hydration with electrolytes is super important.
She also points out that children overheat 3 to 5 times faster than adults, so never leave them or even your pets unattended in a car for even a few minutes. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Police in Huron County say they're investigating a possible hate crime from this past weekend. They say it happened either Friday night or early Saturday morning. Pink and blue spray paint was used at multiple baseball fields in Exeter. Profanities, a swastika, and a racial slur were seen on a picnic table, spray painted on the grass, on a porta potty, and signage. OPP say they have no suspects at this time, and the case has been forwarded to the hate crime unit. Stratford police say they're looking for 4 suspects after a smash and grab jewelry store robbery. This is video taken by a witness at Paris Jewelers inside the Stratford Mall Sunday around 5 o'clock. 4 masked male suspects armed with hammers smashed glass cases and took an unknown amount of items. They fled in a car that was later determined to have been stolen from Peel region. And London police say they've arrested and charged a man accused in a weekend carjacking. They say it happened near Wonderland and Sarnia Roads Saturday afternoon. According to police, a man stole a vehicle at knife point who was later arrested after trying to flee police, crashing into 2 cruisers, but no injuries were reported. We'll be right back after this break.
A stunning photo, a brand new life. Thank you to Rhonda Sutherland for sending this one in. We're in the grips of an extreme heat wave across the region with temperatures climbing into the low to mid 30s and feeling like the mid 40s. The heat continues as we head into your Tuesday. There's a chance for showers over the next couple of days. We could see a pop-up thunderstorm Tuesday afternoon. There's the chance for some light rainfall Wednesday. The hot and humid conditions continue through the week.
Today marks the 40th anniversary of Canada's worst terrorist attack, the Air India bombing. All 329 people on board Air India Flight 182 were killed when a bomb exploded, while the plane was mid-flight over the Atlantic. Most of the passengers were Canadians, and it's considered the largest mass murder in Canadian history. There are several events planned today across the country and in India marking the anniversary.
We gathered at around 8 a.m., just around the same time as Air India Flight 182 went down on the coast of Ireland. We had about 12 separate families, around 40 people who gathered from the family members as well as several hundred from the community.
Tesla is rolling out new robotaxis in Austin, Texas. The company has been testing out a fleet of 10 self-driving taxis, inviting social media influencers to try them out. Tesla CEO Elon Musk says the project has been a decade in the making. Industry experts are skeptical, though, saying even if testing is successful, it will be difficult to scale the fleet up, especially with new Texas rules requiring permits for autonomous cars. A Canadian professor is calling out his students for cheating on their schoolwork using artificial intelligence. As Emma Convey reports, ChatGPT is becoming an increasingly popular study tool, but often it does more harm than good.
Ed McHugh is a business and marketing professor at 3 post-secondary schools in the Halifax area. Over the last few years, he's noticed a troubling trend. Students using artificial intelligence softwares to cheat.
Having one student do it is serious, but it's increasing. Word has gotten out quite rapidly on this language, and so it's being leaned on by a number of students.
McHugh recently took to social media after he noticed a number of students used AI on a recent assignment.
As an educator, you always feel some sense of sadness, sometimes anger. Because you feel betrayed, and you also feel like they must think that you're not very bright to catch some of this stuff.
I would never use it to do my actual work because it's really stupid. Like if I'll be honest, I will give it a math equation and it doesn't know how to solve it.
There are ways to detect it, but it's tough.
You have an email that's not written very well in grammar-wise, but the attached assignment is in perfect English.
The software follows a certain format in its answers. So when it's copied, it's obvious.
But then after that, it gets really tricky. It comes down to your word versus the student's word.
Some students feel it enhances their learning, but others disagree.
When I use it, it's to get better understanding of what the questions are asking. So usually just re-put them in different words.
For paper reviewing and for some just for some information.
In the arts specifically, it does kind of hinder the programs because you are relying a lot on social views.
Rules vary from classroom to classroom. Each course has its own AI policy. But in general, cheating and plagiarizing are a no across the board.
On your first assignment, if you're caught and it's proven, you get 0 for the assignment. If you do it again in the course, you get 0 for the course.
This professor explains that AI can be a good thing if used appropriately. But students who rely on it entirely are simply getting an artificial education. Emma Convey, CTV News, Halifax.
London's top stories.
We have breaking news tonight out of Ottawa. The latest in the
breaking news alerts.
I'm tracking an area of severe weather. It'll start.
And watch live.
A development now to a story from City Hall we brought you.
Download the CTV News app.
Finally tonight, a young southwestern Ontario boy who spent this past weekend raising money for a family member dealing with a tough diagnosis. Robert Lothian has more on his efforts to keep his grandfather around as long as possible.
Under a blazing sun, Landon Bevan is hard at work.
Thanks, boys. Good job.
The 6-year-old, along with his family, serving lemonade Saturday outside their home.
We have little signs set up so that the people know that we have lemonade.
The Bell River resident has been crafting ideas to raise money for a cause near and dear to his heart.
We have little balloons, knowing that we have my grandpa has cancer.
He's pretty smart.
for a 6-year-old.
Landon's grandfather, Roy Knight, was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in February.
The chemo really takes a toll on somebody. Out of the 2 weeks, I normally have 4 good days out of the 2 weeks.
After months of chemotherapy, he hopes to undergo NanoKnife, a procedure using pulses of electricity to destroy cancer cells that's not offered in Canada.
There are a lot of people who we have met through online support groups, but also from around the world who have done NanoKnife. It's added 10 or more years to their life.
The family is hoping to raise about $80,000 for NanoKnife surgery in Florida, and with rates of pancreatic cancer on the rise, they feel Canada has more work to do.
There really does need to be more research done on pancreatic cancer treatment guidelines.
For Landon and the rest of Knight's grandchildren, each fundraiser is just hope for another day of memories.
Go fishing.
He goes fishing?
Yeah, and he makes the funniest jokes.
He's pretty funny.
The surgery has been tentatively set for July 24th if they can raise enough.
Hopefully this, NanoKnife helps to see the kids grow up.
Robert Lothian, CTV News, Bell River.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For your latest local headlines, you can always head to our website. I'm back tonight with your late news at 11. Bye for now.